Hello, it's Krista Denon here, pelvic floor exercise specialist. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I train my core to get that sought after six-pack. Take a moment to review the disclaimer. And for more videos on pelvic floor health and exercise and movement, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Now, before I get started to show you my exercise routine for training my core, I want to first tell you about why I train my core this way and what you will notice is missing. Well, what is missing are forward flexion movements, crunches, sit-ups, Russian twists, anything like lifting my legs straight up and down all the time. The reason why I don't do those on a regular basis, or they're not my go-to exercise, is because, well, I've had 3 babies, and every time I go to curl and press down, I find that I'm not able to control the intra-abdominal pressure and load put on my pelvic floor and on my connective tissue. Now, I've had to have surgery to repair an umbilical hernia. I still can get symptoms of pressure from a prolapse, a bladder prolapse. So the last thing I want to do is to aggravate those areas with constantly doing forward flexion movements. That being said, on occasion, you may find me doing sit-ups, you may find me doing Russian twists, you may find me doing like V sit-ups, that kind of thing, but it's really only once in a blue moon. And what I'm about to show you in this little core routine I'm going to do is how I've trained my core to get that sought after six-pack, to still be able to do things like kipping pull-ups and all those other type of exercise movements that require a really good strong core in one of my training aspects is CrossFit. So let me show you these movements that I'm going to do a little routine here for you and give it a try. This is how I would do a typical core workout day to day, and I would save all those other things for once in a while. All right, so let's get started on my core workout. Okay, before I get started showing you my core strength training routine, I do want to say that these movements are designed for those who know they have a functional pelvic floor and inner core. Either you've seen a pelvic floor physical therapist, you know that your pelvic floor function and strength, the agility, the endurance, everything is going good, because I am going to be putting some load on that inner core system. And I want to know that you can manage the load and the intra-abdominal pressure. All right, so here's how I do it. I'm going to do 3 movements, roughly anywhere from 45 seconds to a minute, so you can vary depending on how you're feeling. I'll let you know some of the things that I'm thinking about and doing in each movement, and then I do what I call like a half Tabata. So I'll do a movement where I'll do about 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. Now, I don't have my timer on for this one, so what I'm going to recommend you do is start with anywhere from 30 seconds to 45 seconds per movement. So you can use this as your guide to learn the movement, and then you can always throw on your timer and do this at another time. Make sure you're doing your core strength routine at the beginning of your workout, not the end, because every movement, squats, lunges, bicep curls, bent over rows, engage your core. So we want to train our core system when it is not exhausted from all the other exercises that we do. Okay, so my first movement is a plank with shoulder tap. So for me, I'm going to get in a plank position from hands to toes. I'm going to exhale and alternate tapping my shoulders, like so. All right, now, a couple things to note here. Yes, this is a very challenging movement. So if you are alternating side to side, first thing you can do is widen your feet, like so. The other thing you can do is bring your hands closer together. You can also drop down to your knees. Now let me talk to you about pelvic floor function here. I am thinking about connecting with my inner core right before I go to move my arms. Okay, so I'm not purposely, voluntarily contracting my pelvic floor on every single movement here, but what I am doing is I'm thinking, can I continue to breathe through this movement? So me talking through this movement is breathing. I'm exhaling right before I go to touch my shoulder. So it will look like this. And I'm checking in with my inner core, my pelvic floor, my transverse abdominals. Are they churning on and firing in order to manage that movement? So there's movement number 1, plank with shoulder taps. Movement number 2 I do is a side plank. I'm gonna grab my weight here. Side plank with a press and rotation. I'm gonna show you the level that I train to now. So I'm gonna go into side plank from forearm to feet. I'm gonna reach up, bring that weight to my chest and rotate. Up and rotate. So that's where I'm breathing. Connecting to my core with my exhale. Connecting to my transverse abdominals, my pelvic floor, breathing through this movement. Now, how do I change this? Bottom leg can be bent. That makes it a little different. Drop the weight, and that is a way to modify that movement. Again, anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds to start. I'm gonna switch sides so that I'm even for my workout right now. So again, here's how I would do it. So for me, I feel like that's harder than this. Now, if you're really wanting to make sure you got good connection, you want to slow it down. Exhale here, inhale, inhale here, exhale, inhale, and then exhale. Remember your options. Bottom knee can be bent, and you've got to keep that weight close to your chest. If it's no weight, hand close to your chest. Otherwise, it's going to irritate that shoulder. All right, I'm already in a sweat from this one, right? So side plank with rotation. The next movement I do, I love, 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 love dead bugs. So I'm gonna add weight to my dead bug, and let me show you how we can change this. So this is the level now that I train my dead bugs to. Now I can add in heavier weight if I want. Notice my legs are straight. My ribs are not flaring off the ground. I'm exhaling through the movement. So I'm exhaling as my limbs are moving. I'm checking in with my pelvic floor and my transverse abdominals right before I move, just like that. Okay, how do I change this for progressions? Bend the knees. Drop the heel instead of straight legs. If you're feeling like your hip flexors are burning, if you feel like your quads are burning, that's just telling you your inner core is done. How do I make this less? I take the weights out. I'll have to think about that there for a moment. Exhale, good. Just like this. So a couple things to note. Watch what happens if I'm not engaged and this is not functional. It will look like this. Popping up, popping up. And then what people do is they try to push their back into the floor. That is creating mismanagement of pressure on your pelvic floor. It's taking your pelvis out of alignment, which makes it harder for that pelvic floor and transverse abdominals to coordinate and work. So this is where we want to go. So even me just doing that many, that's a workout. Okay, the final two things I would do is I'd add a little bit of higher intensity in a way from a core perspective. I love something called recoil push-ups. So what you do is you get into a push-up position. I press my bum back towards my heel and I twist my knees towards the side here. And then I come back. So my bum never goes above my shoulders, right? And I go here. So I'm gonna do 20 seconds of work here. Right, so you get your timer going, 20 seconds of work, then you're gonna take a 10-second rest. Okay, so you'll need a 10-second rest. I'm gonna shake off my hands. The next challenging movement I love to do is what I call a Spiderman twist combo. So I get into a push-up position again. This is Spiderman, this is twist. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go Spiderman, twist, Spiderman, back. Spiderman, twist, Spiderman, back. And again, here, never holding my breath. Checking in with my pelvic floor as I'm flowing through the movement. So I would do that for what I call half a Tabata. So each movement would be done twice for 20 seconds. Recoil push-up, show you that again. 20 seconds here, 10-second break. Then I'll do my Spiderman twist combo. Other side, 20-second break, and voila. That is my core routine. Nothing was forward flexion. Still gonna get you those much sought after abdominals that you're looking for. Well, I don't know about you, but just demonstrating those movements, I felt the core really firing and turning on. Couple of reminders for you. This is more of an advanced core training that I would be doing with someone after they have gone through one of my exercise rehabilitation programs. I'd even be progressing them into a variety of these movements. So keep that in mind when you're going out there and you're doing your mainstream workouts elsewhere, that the go-to movement for training our core doesn't need to be crunches, sit-ups, Russian twists. These should be the go-to movements, and then those other ones should be the little sprinkle on every once in a while into our workouts. Now don't forget, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel as I continue to provide you with videos on your pelvic health in exercise and movement. As well, if you're wondering, I've got something going on with my inner core, my pelvic floor. I'm leaking, I got low back pain or hip pain. I think I have diastasis. Maybe I have found out I had a hypertonic pelvic floor, or I'm feeling pressure from a prolapse. Well, those are pelvic floor dysfunction symptoms. So you do need to consider going through a strategy for exercise rehab. And I've got you covered for that. Check out the link in the comments below for my self-directed online pelvic floor exercise rehabilitation programs that are symptom-based, or you can always work with me one-on-one virtually.